Hey, what's going on guys? It's me, Aiden. Welcome back to another video. Now, in case you somehow were not aware, Crocoduel is now out, and I wrote down some notes as I was watching it, so I'm just going to be talking about those today. So obviously, if you have not seen it, spoilers will be ahead, so definitely go watch it, although I assume most of you have watched it, so yeah, we're just going to go ahead and hop right into this video. So it turns out that Marinette has been avoiding Luca this entire time, which, I mean, I can sort of understand why. But at the same time, it's like, I think she was overreacting a little bit. I think she was being a little bit selfish because obviously Luca was like, yeah, I don't care that she doesn't like me. I sort of knew that from the start, right? But it just hurts me that she doesn't, like, he thought that she didn't want to be friends with him anymore, right? And that hurts a lot more than just being friend-zoned, essentially. So, like, that was sort of a fault on Marinette, I think. So I'm glad that she realized that she was in the wrong at the end there. But yeah, it's good to see that Luca is going to be back, and we do see that, you know, in Wishmaker coming out in a few days, so that will be nice to see. Now, when the synopsis was released from Gloob, there was some confusion because the synopsis only stated that it was Julika's birthday and not necessarily Luca's birthday as well. And, you know, we had known from tweets from Thomas in the past that, you know, they are supposed to be twins now as far as Luca and Julika. But since the synopsis only stated Julika, some people were like, well, is that still in effect? Are they still twins, or are they going back to what they originally were, not twins? But as it turns out, they are twins again, and that was just a bad translation of the synopsis. So yeah, this is like the first episode that we have actually seen them officially be called twins, I believe. So yeah, it's just good to see that, because in case you didn't know, originally they were not twins, but now they are twins. So Thomas said that they changed that, you know, halfway through or whatever, and so this is the first time that we've actually seen that in action. So I don't know, I just think that's pretty cool. Okay, so everyone kind of annoyed me in this episode because, I mean, I know that they have to have a premise to go off of, but at the same time, it's like they were being very insensitive towards Julika, because this was supposed to be Julika's birthday, right? And then they were just like, oh, let's do this. Let's try to get Marinette and Luca to be friends again. Just completely ignoring that the fact that it was Julika's birthday. That was supposed to be her day, right? And I mean, I understand that they were trying to do it for Luca too, but they were just sort of ignoring what Julika, well, she didn't really have anything to say because they didn't really let her voice her input. She was just sort of going along with it because she felt pressured to. But yeah, I just didn't like that. I mean, I know, again, like I said, they had to have something to go off of to start this whole chain reaction of, you know, Hawkmoth and all that stuff. But like, still, guys, come on, you know, it's supposed to be Julika's day, right? And you're like, oh, let's use this as a day to get Marinette and Luca together, just to completely ignoring Julika. That's right. That's okay, right, Julika? You don't mind us completely ignoring you and focusing on Marinette and Luca, right? And Julika's like, yeah, okay, sure, why not? And then, yeah, I don't know, just, you know, Marinette 2, this episode, it was, I don't know. But yeah, just wanted to put that out there because I did find that a bit annoying. Hawkmoth in this episode was absolutely hilarious. He just did not get what he wanted at all. And that was so funny. Like, he was disappointed so many times. And even eventually when, you know, the akumatization was in progress and they went up into the sky to do their competition, he was just like, ugh. Why is today such a bad day? They'll get bored of it eventually. Like, that was so funny, guys. I don't know. I just really enjoyed that. It was funny seeing Hawkmoth just be frustrated this time because, I mean, like, I guess he gets frustrated all the time, right? Because he never wins. But, you know, just, it was just the small things this time. Like, he doesn't typically have this many hiccups, right? You know, he couldn't find somebody to akumatize until, you know, obviously the very end when he found the pair there. But yeah, just him in general, this episode was just absolutely hilarious. So we did see a very interesting concept, I suppose. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but essentially, if an object or if an Akuma enters an object, right, and they are in the process of being akumatized, if you break that object, you can essentially make multiple akumatizations based off of one object, which is, I thought, was very cool. Now, we know that you can do that in general as well, right? Gaining a Secret sort of had the same thing. But I just think it's pretty cool that you could essentially create two akumatizations based off of one object, and that one object could just sort of be hidden away, right? And maybe you wouldn't know about it. So I don't know, maybe you could have, you know, some object that's broken into 4 pieces, akumatizing 4 people all at the same time. This would require like extensive planning and stuff like that, but still, like, you could essentially do that and then have unbeatable villains, right? because Ladybug would have, you know, say for example she's fighting these 3 villains and then you have this 4th who's just hiding. You need that 4th object to, you know, you have to make it, you have to put it together, and then you can break it, and then that'll get rid of the Akuma. But if you don't do that, the object is invincible, right? So that essentially means that they can't be beaten. So I thought that that was a very cool idea, as far as, like, you know, had Hawkmoth abused that, he could have essentially just created unbeatable villains, which I don't know about you, but that seems like a pretty OP move to me. So just something to point out there, that technically you could make unbeatable villains if you planned it out correctly. Now, I do think that you would have to have people on board with it, right? Like it would have to be sort of like a Gabriel akumatizing himself kind of move, right? You'd have to have people be like, okay, so I'm going to akumatize you, and you have to break this object before, you know, this whole thing happens. I don't know. Just sort of has to be really orchestrated. But, you know, if done correctly, he could essentially have unbeatable villains. So just want to put that out there, Hawkmoth. If you're tuning into the show or to this video, there's a good plan for you for the finale. Now, another gripe I had with this episode, which, I mean, it's a very minor one, but like when Alia had that cramp, or supposed cramp, but she was faking the cramp and everyone helped her, right? Which allowed Marinette to get away. That is like one of the worst like things that I've ever seen of Marinette getting away from, right? Because, like, first of all, how did nobody notice? Like, you know, oh, like, okay, sure, it's understandable for the first few seconds, right? When they're like, oh, Ollie, are you okay? Let's help you out. But then when they're like, oh, okay, so we're all sort of situated here, we got people helping her, what happened to Marinette, right? And then on top of that, Marinette would typically be like one of the first people to go help Ollie out, right? So it's like, no, did nobody question, like, hey, why didn't Marinette, who is usually the first person to go help out in situations like these, why is she missing? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just like a very minor gripe, right? Like that's something that we expect of this show, that just like it has stupid moments like that. But still, I don't know. I feel like with the double whammy there is kind of not the best way. I feel like they could have come up with a more creative way to do that, but oh well, I guess it works. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about Purple Tigress, because my guess is, I haven't seen the community's reaction because I'm recording this right after I watched it, but I'm guessing that a lot of people are confused as to what Purple Tigress's power actually is, because I know I was from watching the episode. So I had to, like, you know, I found Thomas's tweet where he sort of talked about it, and essentially what Thomas said is that the power is exaltation. Now, Thomas describes this as a burst of energy, which I guess makes sense. The second definition on Google is the action of elevating someone in rank, power, or character. So I guess that's pretty close. Now, I didn't really understand, like, I don't know. I guess it's a tiger, and, you know, I don't know. I felt like that power was pretty interesting. Thomas essentially equated this to like a one punch, like One Punch Man, right? Where you just get one really powerful punch and that's really good. So, I mean, yeah, that's cool. I don't really know how it relates to the Tiger Miraculous. I mean, then again, you could, I guess Ladybug is with like luck, I guess. Cat Noir, Black Cat, bad luck, destruction. I can sort of see that one. I don't know. Gonna be honest here, it's a little bit of a dry power, I will say, because it's just like, oh, you get a really powerful punch, yay. I don't know, just not the biggest fan of the power. Costume design is really cool, I like that, but I don't know, just her whole power in general is kind of confusing. It's, well, not necessarily confusing, but it's just it's weird in comparison to some of the other ones, as far as like, it's so straightforward that it almost confuses you, because it's like it's just like a punch, right? And it's like, I don't know. Anyway, just wanted to put that out there, because I'm sure that a lot of people were confused as to like what exactly this power was, and you know, because I know I was when watching. I was like, what the heck is this? So yeah, I mean, it's just a powerful punch, essentially. That's what it breaks down to. So yeah, there you go. That's some information for you if you were confused about it. Next up, we have one of the worst cataclysms of possibly ever. Cat Noir using a cataclysm on a record. Didn't even need to do that. He could have just, like, you know, broken it. Once it was put together, I assume you can just snap it in half again, right? You don't need to do the cataclysm. Although I feel like we've seen this before, right? We've seen something that could easily be broken by, you know, just a fist or whatever, but it was broken by a cataclysm. Like, this is not the first time we've seen this, but especially with a record, Like, it's understandable if it's like a piece of metal, right? Because how are you gonna break a piece of metal with your bare hands or whatever, right? But like a record, you could very easily snap that in half. And I don't know, I just thought it was kind of funny and sad at the same time how Cat Noir has just, you know, his power is solely used for breaking something that you didn't even need his power to break. So yeah, I don't know, that was a pretty sad one on that part. And finally, the last thing I wrote down is that Julika is learning to have more of a voice, which is very good. She's starting to speak up for herself, and that's great. Good character evolution, or development, I should say, not evolution, because I don't know. She hasn't made a complete change yet, but she's just, you know, she's working on it, I think. And that's good to see, right? I love to see character development. And yeah, I love seeing all, like I watch this show for the characters, right? And so when we get to see them evolve and grow, that's what I like to enjoy most, right? Because that's the enjoyment that I get out of the show. So seeing how she, you know, at least as far as the beginning of this episode, was very shy, not very outspoken, and then as the end of the episode came around, she was, you know, talking to her parents and all that stuff. And it was good to see, right? And then I hope that this continues, and especially with season 4 being more continuity based, I assume we will see her, you know, be more assertive and things like that. So yeah, I don't know, that just makes me happy. I love to see character development. But yeah, that's really all I had to talk about for this episode. If you did enjoy, you can leave a like and subscribe for more content similar to this, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Uma hora eles vão se cansar disso.